All right, good morning, welcome again. I'm gonna invite you to join your tables. Welcome to, this is I think the fifth in a series of dialogues the county is sponsoring to learn more from community about your thoughts around economic development as they're putting together larger strategies to support our communities. And let's see, we're East Mountains now. We have one more in the series next week that'll be in the southeast part of town at the Highland Theater. We always invite folks to each of these, even if it's outside of your community, you're welcome to be there. I want to thank county staff already, so I don't forget to do that, and the folks who made food available. Early morning, little breakfast food, that's the cool thing. This is the first one that we've done in the morning. So all the rest have been in the evenings around dinner time. So hopefully we'll expect some other folks to fill in while we're kind of moving through the morning. So again, welcome. And I want to make sure you all know as well, we have translation services available. If folks are in need of that, or as folks join us are in need of those services, we want to make sure that you know we have translation services here in the room. And as always, thank the AV folks in the back. I always say AV, I don't know if that's even right. Tech sounds more impressive, the tech folks. I'll say tech folks. So with that, and I think Commissioner Olivas is going to join us kind of midway. And when he arrives, we'll make some space for him to greet you all and to welcome you. All right, so we're going to jump in. We'll be here about 90 minutes. We'll be done around 10:30 this morning. Do what we can to keep ourselves on time. We may move a little faster if we stay as a smaller group. But I'm going to go straight to general welcome from county staff.
Hello, I'm Marcos Gonzalez, Executive Development Officer for Bernalillo County. Thank you for attending this community dialogue. So why are we here today? The goal of economic development at Bernalillo County is to create an environment for businesses to thrive and improve the quality of life of all county residents. We have organized these community dialogues in response to a request from the Bernalillo County Commission. We want to hear what you think is important related to economic development. Your comments will be used to develop the Economic Development Department's future strategies and programming. They will also guide any amendments that may be necessary to add to our financing policies in order to deliver these community-informed strategies. We appreciate your time and being part of this conversation. We invite you to continue to engage throughout this process by accessing our materials and research on our website, attending other meetings, and completing our stakeholder survey. We look forward to sharing all of this information gathered in this process with our county commission as well as with you. Thank you.
All right, so through the course of our morning, we'll start here in a second with a general, larger question around what economic development means to you. And then we'll dive into two separate topics in two different conversations. First conversation, the topic will be around a strong economy and how you think about what that looks like and what the elements are. And then the second one, we'll take a little break in the middle. We need it. And then we'll have a conversation about competition in terms of how the county is competitive, stays competitive, right, with counties around us and outside our state. And then we'll do some report outs from our tables so you can hear what other folks have been talking about. So I've already had the question a couple times, does it make more sense to do tables of 4 instead of tables of 6? Every other dialogue has had tables of 6 or 8, so I'm a little bit of a wonk, right, in terms of making sure apples get compared to apples and get compared to apples, right? So we'll stay in tables of 6s, and then as folks show up, we'll ask them to fill in some of the tables. Just a couple kind of ground rules, guides as we're in the discussion. We want you to be active in your conversation, right? It literally is a dialogue. It's a conversation at your table. And as you're in your conversations, we ask that everyone speaks and listens with respect. You don't have to agree on everything that you'll be talking about at your tables, but we want to make sure people are heard and they have an opportunity to hear everything that's being discussed. In addition to kind of active listening, right, with respect and being engaged in dialogue that way, if someone says something that you're not sure what they mean, just ask for clarification, right? And that can be done as easily as just saying, could you repeat that? I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying as we're moving through the conversation. If at some point you all need any help clarifying questions about process or about whatever you have on your tables, you have a little toolbox like this on your table. And inside the toolbox, there's a red half sheet like this. So if you're in conversation and you get stuck and you need facilitation help, just do this. And I'll know to make sure to attend to your table. Doesn't mean I have the answer. I will have an answer, right? But I may not have the answer, but I'll do my best. So if you need help, please be sure to ask. As we move to this first question, this first conversation about what does economic development mean to you, we're going to ask you in an introductory dialogue at your table to do these three things. So I want you to share your name with everyone at your table, what part of the county you've come from to be at this dialogue, and then in your little toolkits, inside your box, you have a bunch of these half sheets. We want you to capture on your half sheet your answer to what does economic development mean to you, right? So you don't have to put your name and you don't have to put the part of the county you're in, but we do want to make sure you answer the question, what does economic development mean to you on your half sheet, okay? Make sense? Yeah. All right, so you should have a little toolbox. And it should be full of markers and pens. If we run out of either markers or pens, let me know, and we'll get you more. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and start working on this first one. We'll give you about 10 minutes, and I'll check in and see how you're doing. What does economic development mean to you? So I'll ask you to start those conversations now. If somebody would round up your half sheets very quickly, I ask Sierra here to come around and pick those up from you. Yes, thank you, Sierra. All right. Our first dialogue is going to be around your perceptions of a strong economy. On your tables, you should have a manila envelope. It's under this little box here. And inside the manila envelope, there should be 10 sheets. You all need 6 of them, obviously. But one for each of you to be able to capture your answers to 2 questions. The first one is, when you imagine a strong economy in your community, what does that look like? What does it look like? What are the elements of it? And as you're in your discussion around this first one, I will prompt you about halfway through, if you haven't already started, to pivot to the second question, which is, in that strong economy that you just described in question 1, what do housing and essential services like healthcare, transportation, childcare, what does that look like for the people at different income levels? When you imagine a strong economy in your community or for your community, what does it look like? And I will prompt you. You don't have to wait, right? If you're naturally start to begin to answer the second part of the question. Make sure, though, that you're memorializing, you're answering on those sheets, your answers to each one. That's the data that we literally need your input to help with the strategic decision making that'll happen later. I'm going to ask you all to start your conversation on strong economy now. If you would put those back into that envelope, and I'll have Sierra come around and pick those up from you. While she's coming around, she's also going to hand out the packet for your second question. So as we're taking care of kind of getting the materials both picked up and put out, I'd like to invite to the front of the room one of Commissioner Levos's right-hand man, Augustine. Welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for being here. We really appreciate these conversations. I think that they're really important, especially for our communities, looking at what economic development looks like with the context of the region. One of the things that I'm really proud to be up here speaking on behalf of the commissioner about is looking at economic development in the context of water. Because we can bring in a lot of industry, we can bring in a lot of these different initiatives, but if we're not paying attention to the water in our region as well, we could potentially be doing ourselves a disservice. And so I'm really proud to be able to speak for the commissioner, to talk about this context that he's really dedicated to paying attention to, and also making sure that you guys are all heard in the process of economic development with Bernalillo County. So thank you all. I think I gave you guys a little bit of a break in this stuff, and I'm a little bit quirky, so it'll, I hope it goes well and that we have a great conversation. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. This second dialogue is going to be focused on the concept of competition. And there's actually one question, but there are two parts to the question. One in terms of how can Bernalillo County remain competitive with the counties around it, right, in terms of supporting a strong economy and some of the things that you are talking about. The very first question that we ask you around what does economic development look, what does it mean to you? As your answers, we started grouping them and looking at them in terms of a theming analysis. What came out of that conversation is collaborative economic development, that the county is partnering with community and partnering with small business. People are partnering to create the conditions for good economic development, that it creates jobs and sustainability. And these are very close to things we've heard in other conversations around growth and sustainability and opportunity. So in this question around competition, how can Bernalillo County remain competitive with neighboring states and counties to retain our workforce, right? So how does the county begin to think about its strategies in terms of being able to retain its workforce in both contexts, as it relates to other counties and in the other context as it relates to the states in our region? So again, we'll give you about 20 minutes or so, and we'll work the conversation the same way. Start that conversation now. Okay, so we are going to spend just a few minutes here as we wrap up, hearing from each of your tables about what your conversations were.
Hi, everybody. I'm back again. So a lot of our conversation was dealing with regulation as well as, just the feasibility of what economic development looks like, bringing and attracting business to the region and to Bernalillo County. When it comes to regulation, what I got from the group is a collaborative regulation framework, which means that we're taking into account what businesses need while at the same time making sure that we're maintaining the culture uniqueness of the region and also making sure that, businesses want to come here. Added to that, we also talked a lot about, I referenced this point and I'm already drawing a blank.
The bureaucratic tape.
Yes, the bureaucratic tape, making sure that businesses are able to come in and they're able to get all their permitting and able to get all of the services that they need done while at the same time, doing it in an effective time frame.
Very good. Let's get this table a hand. You were cooking. You guys are cooking. Let's see who'd like to go next.
It was kind of hard to figure out the consensus because we had some people leaving. One, I think part of our group was questioning whether or not being competitive in terms of job retention is a component of economic development. That was actually a question mark raised. We had, and I think an excellent addition here, that we need to have a better qualified workforce for the jobs that are there or potentially there. And how can the county collaborate with our schools at every level in order to achieve that? I think we, at least from my perspective, we added a continuation of our economic development incentives like IRBs, LEDA, et cetera, maybe even looking for other ones. And then echoing this table, I believe, a reduction in the process elements of getting your approvals as we compete with other counties, states, and countries. Companies want to know how long is it going to take if I'm here before I can start either building or producing whatever I'm producing. And we're much slower than that. We've overburdened ourselves with process. Not wanting to eliminate it, but overburdened. So that's, I think, is that fair, guys? Oh, our young person here added that one of the problems in our job force is After you get education, formal education, you have to have experience, but you can't get experience because you can't get the job to get the experience. So somehow getting out of that conundrum would be very helpful for the young generation to be competitive.
Excellent. Thank you. Let's give this table a hand. Nice job. Oh, and
All right. Super interested in what our businesses can offer us before we let them come into our communities. How are they going to pay our Albuquerqueans? How are they going to train our Albuquerqueans? What kind of child care, health care are they going to offer us? So how are they going to improve our communities before we allow them to come in? Anything else?
yeah. Let's give this table a hand. It looked like y'all might want to say a little more.
So we talked about a lot of subjects, basically a lot of problems. And for there to be any growth or economic development, we need to address those problems. First and foremost was safety, poverty, legislation. I mean, we can't even go into a Walgreens because there's nothing stocked on the shelves. Everything we have to order is via Amazon, or in my case, Temu. And there's so much factor. You know, we want to attract young people. How do we attract young people when the state that you're living in is known for Breaking Bad? You know, meth capital of the world, even in Spain. So how do we change that image to allow businesses to come and touch on the subject, okay, what are you going to offer us? We want businesses to compete to come in here. So let's change our image. Let's teach what the Zia sign on the flag means. I mean, that is so cool. That is like one of the coolest flags ever when I found out about it and decided to move here. The blue skies, the richness of diversity, of beauty that the land has to offer. You know, there's so much, the indigenous cultures, the Hispanic cultures, there's so much that we are not letting known to the world. And so people just think of going elsewhere. Companies think of going elsewhere. So, you know, let's make this that thing that comes out of, you know, Norman Rockwell's paintings. We want housing, everyone to have housing at different means that's safe, schools, in the workforce, that sense of family that makes you feel like you belong to that company and that you helped it grow. So I think there's just so much to offer and to teach about New Mexico and Albuquerque and the local counties and what everything offers. And maybe starting some sort of campaign to start on that would be very helpful towards our economic development.
Excellent. Thank you. Give this table a hand again. Thank you. We have Commissioner Olivas here, and I would love to make sure we give him some space as we wrap up.
All right, thank you so much, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Sorry I'm a little late. I was at the opening of the Mesa del Sol fields. Just opened up a couple of new soccer fields and yaffle fields. And even though it's very different community than our East Mountains, I think it ties in exactly with what you all just talking about and what this gentle lady over here was just talking about with regards to really viewing the assets that our community has and thinking about New Mexico and Albuquerque and Bernalillo County more as an emerging economy, right? A place that has enormous potential to grow and capitalize on its unique assets rather than just comparing ourselves to everybody else where we're always not in a great place. And so I thought that facility is an amazing example of what happens when you have a vision that's aligned with really an economic development priority, right? Which is, hey, we've got this great weather, this great culture. Can we attract more regional events to our community and bring in those dollars? It's a really good thing for our community, right? It's not really harmful to our environment. It aligns with a lot of our culture and social goals, those kinds of things. And so Really just want to appreciate you all for being here and sharing, a few hours of your morning with our experts and our leadership here at the county to help us really think about what do the next 10 years of economic development in Bernalillo County look like, and how do we make sure that that aligns with our values and our priorities. And that might look a little different than Washington State or Texas or some of these other places that we often get compared to. I think it's important that we stay true to ourselves and stay true to the community that we love, and that's kind of what I heard as I got to tune in here to the end of your dialogue. So that's it. I just want to thank you for being here. I do want to remind you, if it hasn't been said already, we have a meeting coming up on Thursday at the Sandia District Ranger Station for the Cedillo Ridge Open Space. Speaking of kind of our unique qualities here in New Mexico and Bernalillo County, we have so much public lands and open space, and this is a closed open space. So I think it's really important that we all kind of pay attention to this and think about that and what that means and what the future of that could be to responsibly engage the community and build on that asset to get the public in there in a safe and low impact way. So I encourage you to attend that. That's Thursday the 14th at 5:30, Sandia District Ranger Station. So thank you again for being here, and just thank you for sharing your Saturday with us.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, and we echo the same appreciation for y'all being here. Very quickly, on your tables, you have a couple of these stand-up poster deals. There is a QR code here that takes you to a survey. If you want to provide more input in deeper spaces, the survey gives you an opportunity to do that. There are also focus groups that are being held around that you can engage in. And you can always go to BernCo.gov to get more information, to see your information from these dialogues and from other dialogues, and to gather other ways that you can be involved and engaged. So we highly encourage you to participate in all the ways that you can. There are multiple pathways for us to hear your voice, and we'd love to hear it as many ways as we can. So again, very appreciative of you being here this morning. Thank you very much. I'm hoping there's at least one burrito left, because I'm going to get one. But I think, yeah, I think, can folks get? Okay. And so if folks want other burritos or water or soda there, you can get those on your way out. But again, thank you very much. Thank you.